Hi, this is Caitlin Carter, and this is my multicultural themed text set. I chose the essential question of how can multicultural literature nurture hope and inspiration in order to help students feel that they are able to accomplish any task. The texts that I chose are The Other Side by Jacqueline Woodson, Harvesting Hope, The Story of Cesar Chavez by Kathleen Krull, and The Last Stop on Market Street by Matt de la Pena. Here are some quick book descriptions of each of those texts. The Other Side is a historical fiction text that happens during the time of segregation. It talks about a fence that separates 2 yards, one of Clover, who's an African American, and Anna, who is white. The girls are told that they are not allowed to be friends, but as the story progresses, you can see that through the fence that's separating them, they start to form a friendship. In Harvesting Hope, it's a biographical text about the life of Cesar Chavez, who fought to improve the lives of poorly treated migrant workers. The book is a very hopeful and wonderful book and talks about Chavez's peaceful approach. The Last Stop on Market Street is a realistic fiction text about a boy, CJ, who rides the bus with his grandmom every Sunday after church to the soup kitchen. As the bus drives through different parts of town parts that can be considered dirty or very urban, CJ sees lots of different people and experiences lots of different things, and it just kind of helps remind him that you are always able to help those that are less fortunate. Each of these books is considered a multicultural text, and there's cultural relevance in each of them. Lots of different issues are discussed: segregation and social controversies in The Other Side, historical events, and addressing common misconceptions about Hispanics and migrant workers in Harvesting Hope. And also there's cultural relevance in The Last Stop on Market Street, as it gives a glimpse of a life in a poor, more urban city, and lots of different cultures and ethnic groups that are seen throughout the story. Through all of these texts, there's a common theme of hope, dreaming for a better future, and just a desire for things to be different and a desire for improved conditions. All 3 of these texts focus on different cultures, and they're represented in a way that students can start to understand and maybe make connections and see things in common between these cultures, as well as just that common theme of hope, knowing that you're able to do anything. So my goals of instruction for using these books in the classroom would be I would want students to positively understand the various cultures and understandings of these common themes of hopefulness and inspiration. I want my students to have opportunities to adjust any negative stereotypes and misunderstandings and really just focus on the positivity that occurs in all of these books. So as far as grades wise, it would be appropriate for upper elementary students. I've used all 3 of these books in my 4th grade class, and they've worked out wonderfully. In order to complete all of these activities, I would say about 2 weeks would be necessary. Interdisciplinary connections, there's many of them throughout these books. Many can be connected to history or social studies, The Other Side with segregation, and different cultures can definitely be connected to social studies. Harvesting Hope definitely tackles negative stereotypes that can be associated with Hispanics or migrant workers in general. So the following are some activities that can be included when discussing each of these texts. For The Other Side, segregation is definitely a big topic of conversation and what students know, talking about it with Think, Pair, Share strategy. Discussion throughout the book and having students connect to the characters would be important. Whereas after reading, it would be beneficial to have a journal entry, maybe talking about segregation and how they might have felt during this book. Harvesting Hope, again, it would be important to have discussion talking about Cesar Chavez and migrant workers and what they are. Using sticky notes might be beneficial to have students keep track of thoughts or connections as they read. And using a Venn diagram would be a great after activity to compare and contrast migrant workers movement and civil rights movement. Last Stop on Market Street, again, Think, Pair, and Share and discussion would be perfect, talking about traditions, talking about the different questions CJ asks, and maybe have students talk about their family traditions. Overall, I was able to reflect on this activity. I felt that I learned a lot, and I learned about the benefit of connecting all different texts. It's very useful to help students be able to pick out common themes and views that can be shown, and understanding the differences of the different cultures. Sometimes it was a little bit difficult to kind of find texts that can connect, especially if you're thinking about a common theme. But overall, I found this this activity very useful in helping these common texts and my students making connections and showing the values and common themes that can be apparent in different multicultural literature.